Within the first 30 seconds of meeting someone, their unconscious mind has already revealed 7 critical psychological signatures. But only those who understand Jung's penetrating insights can decode these instant revelations. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But even more revealing is what someone shows us in their first moments of contact. Carl Jung. Onward thinkers, my name is Mister Halvig, and you're watching The Rational Wise. Carl Gustav Jung spent decades studying the instantaneous psychological exchanges that occur when humans meet. He discovered that within moments, sometimes seconds, people unconsciously broadcast their deepest fears, desires, and psychological structures through subtle but unmistakable signals. While others engage in small talk, the trained observer is reading a person's entire psychological blueprint. You encounter strangers every day, during job interviews where reading the interviewer can shape your future, in social situations where spotting manipulators protects your emotions, and in business meetings where understanding someone's psychology influences success. People wear masks, play roles, and hide intentions, but their unconscious minds reveal the truth to anyone who knows how to observe. The seemingly confident person fidgeting with jewelry may signal insecurity. The loud self-promoter who avoids eye contact may be masking imposter syndrome. The overly perfect mimic may lack a solid sense of self. Jung knew the unconscious doesn't lie. It speaks through micro-expressions, vocal tone, body language, and instinctive behaviors that emerge within seconds. These aren't rehearsed, they're automatic. In the next 20 minutes, you'll learn to spot 7 key psychological cues. How to identify narcissism in a first sentence, distinguish real confidence from arrogance, and read emotional intelligence through simple conversation. By the end, you'll have what Jung called the instantaneous eye, the ability to see through any psychological mask in moments. Sign 1, the mirror test, instant recognition of authentic self-awareness. The first and most revealing sign appears within seconds of conversation, how someone responds to being mirrored. Jung discovered that psychologically mature individuals react with curiosity when their words or behaviors are reflected back to them, while those lacking self-awareness become defensive or uncomfortable. Jung understood that self-awareness is the foundation of psychological health. When someone possesses genuine self-knowledge, they welcome external feedback because it aligns with their internal understanding. However, those operating from unconscious patterns feel threatened when their behaviors are highlighted, revealing a fundamental disconnect between their self-image and reality. Consider the encounter between Socrates and the young Alcibiades at an Athenian symposium. When Socrates mirrored Alcibiades' grandiose statements, the young man reacted with defensiveness and aggression, eventually storming off. Socrates instantly recognized deep insecurity beneath the polished exterior, a judgment later proven accurate when Alcibiades betrayed Athens multiple times, driven by the very instability Socrates had seen in seconds. In the first minutes of conversation, subtly reflect someone's statements back to them. So you're saying that? Or, it sounds like you believe. A psychologically healthy person will engage thoughtfully, perhaps refining their position. Someone lacking self-awareness will become defensive, change the subject, or show visible discomfort. This happens instantly and cannot be faked. Test this immediately by paraphrasing their opening statements. Watch their facial expression and body language. Authentic people relax when understood correctly. Inauthentic people tense up when their words are reflected back. Second, notice if they expand on their thoughts or shut down. Self-aware individuals welcome deeper exploration of their ideas. Sign 2, the status signal. Reading power dynamics in seconds. Jung identified that every human interaction immediately establishes a power dynamic, revealed through unconscious status signals that appear within the first 30 seconds. These signals are more reliable than words because they emerge directly from the psychological unconscious. Status positioning is an archetypal behavior rooted in survival instincts. Those who feel internally powerful display relaxed confidence, while those compensating for feelings of powerlessness exhibit rigid control behaviors. Jung observed that true authority emanates from inner security, while false authority requires constant external validation and dominance displays. When Julius Caesar first met Cleopatra, witnesses noted an immediate shift in power. Though she arrived wrapped in a carpet, her relaxed posture, direct eye contact, and calm speech quickly shifted the dynamic. Caesar, despite his military dominance, unconsciously mirrored her. Within minutes, it was clear Cleopatra held the psychological upper hand. Her genuine confidence overrode his authority, foreshadowing their relationship and its impact on Roman politics. Observe immediate posture, eye contact patterns, and vocal tone. Genuine confidence appears relaxed and grounded. Compensatory confidence appears rigid and performative. Notice who adjusts their position first, who speaks first, and who controls the conversation's rhythm. These dynamics establish themselves within seconds and remain consistent throughout the interaction. Watch for the handshake. Authentic power uses firm but not crushing pressure. Overcompensation crushes your hand or holds too long. Second, observe spatial behavior. Confident people respect boundaries while insecure people either invade space aggressively or retreat excessively. The mask slips in the first 30 seconds. Sign 3. The emotional leak, detecting hidden emotional states. Jung discovered that suppressed emotions create what he called emotional leaks, unconscious micro-expressions and vocal changes that reveal true feelings despite conscious attempts at control. These leaks appear within moments and betray every emotional deception. The unconscious mind processes emotions faster than conscious awareness can suppress them. When someone attempts to hide their true emotional state, the authentic emotion appears first in micro-expressions, lasting fractions of a second before the conscious mind imposes the desired expression. Jung understood that these leaks reveal not just current emotions, but core emotional patterns and psychological wounds. During the 1938 meeting between Neville Chamberlain and Adolf Hitler, trained observers noticed emotional leaks that betrayed Hitler's calm facade. Though he spoke of peace, flashes of contempt and rage appeared in his eyes and mouth, and his tone briefly turned aggressive before regaining control. Chamberlain, unaware of these cues, took him at face value. Intelligence officers who recognized the signals accurately predicted Hitler's true intentions and the failure of appeasement. In job interviews, dates, or business meetings, watch for micro-expressions that contradict spoken words. Someone claiming to be excited about the opportunity while showing brief flashes of disgust or fear is revealing their true feelings. Pay attention to vocal inconsistencies, shifts in pitch, pace, or tone that don't match the content being delivered. Focus on the eyes and mouth during emotional statements. Authentic emotions create congruent expressions across all facial features. Deceptive emotions show mismatches, perhaps genuine sadness in the eyes while the mouth attempts to smile. Second, listen for vocal tremors or changes in speaking rhythm that indicate emotional suppression. Sign 4. The narcissism detector, spotting self-obsession. Instantly, Jung identified specific linguistic and behavioral patterns that reveal narcissistic personality structures within the first few minutes of conversation. These patterns are so consistent that they serve as an instant diagnostic tool for dangerous personality types. Narcissism, in Jung's understanding, represents a developmental arrest where the individual remains psychologically fused with an inflated self-image. This creates predictable communication patterns. Everything gets related back to themselves. They show inability to engage with others' experiences genuinely, and they demonstrate what Jung called empathy poverty through their conversational choices. Emperor Caligula's narcissism was clear from his earliest public appearances. He constantly redirected conversations to himself, interrupting others with unrelated stories and showing no interest in their inner lives. To him, people existed only as props in his personal drama. Advisors who recognized these patterns early either fled or learned to exploit his craving for admiration. Knowing his unpredictability was dangerous. Notice conversational flow patterns. Healthy individuals show genuine curiosity about your experiences and ask follow-up questions. Narcissistic individuals constantly redirect conversations back to themselves, show limited interest in your responses, and treat your stories as launching pads for their own narratives. This pattern appears within the first 5 minutes and remains consistent. Test this by sharing a brief personal story and observing their response. Emotionally healthy people will ask questions or show empathy. Narcissistic individuals will immediately share their own story, often trying to one-up your experience. Second, notice their comfort with silence. Narcissists feel compelled to fill quiet moments with self-referential content. Narcissists reveal themselves in their first words. You've now mastered the key signs that appear in the first moments of human interaction. Testing self-awareness through mirroring. Reading power dynamics via status signals. Spotting hidden emotions through micro-expressions, and identifying narcissistic traits through conversation flow. But these are just surface readings. What comes next are deeper, more refined psychological cues, instant tells that reveal core personality structure, emotional intelligence, and capacity for real connection. These advanced signs are what distinguish a casual observer from a true student of human psychology. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps more than you think. Now let's continue. The next 3 signs require understanding Jung's most profound insights into human nature. They deal with archetypal patterns that operate beneath conscious awareness, revealing not just who someone is in the moment, but who they are capable of becoming or incapable of transcending. Sign 5. The projection reveal instant recognition of shadow material. Jung's most powerful instant assessment tool involves recognizing what someone immediately projects onto others. Within minutes of conversation, people unconsciously reveal their deepest psychological wounds and hidden character traits through their spontaneous judgments and observations about others. The shadow contains all the qualities we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves. Jung discovered that these repressed aspects leak out through our immediate perceptions of others. When someone quickly judges or criticizes others, they're unconsciously describing their own disowned psychological material. This projection happens so rapidly that it bypasses conscious censorship, making it an incredibly reliable diagnostic tool. During the Salem witch trials, Reverend Samuel Parris accused others of the very traits he embodied. He projected his power hunger onto alleged witches while using religion to control the community. His fixation on others' supposed sexual misconduct mirrored his own repression. Those who understood projection saw that Parris was exposing his own shadow, making him more dangerous than those he condemned. Listen to someone's spontaneous comments about other people, especially those they don't know well. If they immediately describe someone as fake, attention-seeking, or manipulative, they're likely projecting their own struggles with authenticity, need for recognition, or manipulative tendencies. These projections appear within minutes and reveal core psychological patterns. Pay attention to their first impressions of mutual acquaintances or strangers. Ask, "What do you think of that person?" and listen to their immediate response. The qualities they attribute to others often mirror their own disowned traits. Second, notice the emotional intensity of their judgments. The stronger the reaction, the deeper the projection. Sign 6. The intimacy capacity test, reading relationship potential. Instantly, Jung identified specific behavioral markers that instantly reveal someone's capacity for genuine intimacy and emotional connection. These signs appear in the first conversation and predict relationship patterns with remarkable accuracy. True intimacy requires what Jung called psychological differentiation, the ability to maintain your own identity while genuinely connecting with another's inner world. This capacity reveals itself through specific communication patterns, the ability to be vulnerable without losing boundaries, to show curiosity without becoming invasive, and to remain present during emotional exchanges without becoming defensive or overwhelming. The relationship between Robert and Elizabeth Barrett Browning began with letters that immediately revealed their capacity for deep intimacy. Robert showed genuine curiosity, vulnerability, and respect for boundaries. Elizabeth responded with openness while staying grounded in herself. Through a Jungian lens, their early exchanges signaled the mature bond that would sustain their marriage through many challenges. Observe how someone handles emotional topics in early conversation. Do they become uncomfortable and change the subject, or can they stay present with feeling? Notice their questions. Do they ask about your inner experience or just external facts? Watch their response to your vulnerability. Healthy individuals will reciprocate appropriately without overwhelming or minimizing your sharing. Test this by sharing something mildly personal and observing their response. People with intimacy capacity will acknowledge your sharing appropriately and often reciprocate with their own vulnerability. Those lacking this capacity will either ignore your sharing, become uncomfortable, or respond inappropriately. Second, notice their comfort with emotional language and feeling-based conversation. Intimacy capacity reveals itself in moments. Sign 7, the authenticity signature, detecting genuine versus performed identity. Jung's most sophisticated instant assessment involves recognizing the difference between authentic self-expression and performed identity. This signature appears through subtle but unmistakable patterns in speech, movement, and energy that cannot be consciously controlled or faked. Authentic individuals operate from what Jung called the true self, their genuine personality structure integrated with conscious awareness. This creates a coherent energy signature visible in their communication patterns, body language, and emotional responses. Performed identity, conversely, requires constant psychological energy to maintain, creating micro-inconsistencies and energy depletion that trained observers can detect instantly. When Diogenes first met Alexander the Great, he quickly saw through the divine ruler persona to the authentic warrior beneath. Alexander's energy felt forced when speaking of godlike destiny, but became natural when discussing real challenges. Diogenes addressed the man, not the mask, leading to the famous exchange where Alexander said that if he weren't himself, he'd wish to be Diogenes. Notice energy patterns during conversation. Authentic people maintain consistent energy levels when discussing various topics. Performed individuals show energy spikes during certain subjects, their performance areas, and energy drops during others, authentic moments. Watch for micro moments of relaxation when their guard drops, revealing their genuine personality beneath the presentation. Observe their energy signature across different topics. Ask about their childhood, their challenges, their genuine interests. Notice when they seem most alive and natural versus when they appear to be performing their identity. Second, pay attention to their use of language. Authentic people use consistent vocabulary and speech patterns, while performers often shift their language style depending on what impression they're trying to create. Authenticity has an unmistakable signature. You now hold Jung's key tools for rapid psychological insight. In just minutes, you can gauge someone's self-awareness through mirroring, sense power dynamics via status cues, spot hidden emotions through micro-expressions, and detect narcissistic tendencies by observing conversation flow. At a deeper level, you've learned to recognize shadow projections, assess emotional availability for real intimacy, and distinguish genuine identity from performance. Together, these 7 signs form a cohesive system for instant assessment. They bypass surface-level deception, emerging from unconscious patterns that are hard to fake or suppress. With them, you can glimpse a person's core emotional structure and relational capacity early on. But Jung's final caution stands: this knowledge is for understanding, not control. Use it to protect yourself, to spot authentic connections, and to better understand your own patterns in relationship. The most skilled practitioners apply these tools inward first, spotting their own projections, emotional leaks, and status games. They treat others not as profiles to decode, but as mirrors reflecting parts of themselves. Instant assessment is a doorway, not a conclusion. These signs illuminate patterns, but people can evolve. Use this awareness to foster deeper connection, not quick judgment. Which of the 7 signs have you noticed most in your recent interactions? Maybe you've caught a projection, yours or someone else's, or sensed a power dynamic shifting in subtle ways. Let me know what you think in the comments. I read every single one. And of course, subscribe for more high-value content. The ability to read others instantly is, at its core, about understanding the human condition, the shared patterns of fear and desire, strength and vulnerability, authenticity and performance. Each interaction offers a chance to learn, and every person becomes a reflection of the complexity and depth we all carry. You now bring Jung's insight into every encounter. Use it to see with clarity, understand with depth, and connect with authenticity. The patterns of human nature become visible to a trained eye. But the most important discovery is your own inner world, reflected back through each person you meet. Onward, thinkers!